They don't want what we know out there.
How a person can go from really almost nothing to becoming a millionaire by owning rental properties.
He would always buy these flip houses, and I just remember thinking, this guy is crazy. Why would he buy that house?
In the past decade, there's been a huge surge in the peer-to-peer short-term rental market.
Become an insider. So you have to know the rules before you get the game.
Every second counts. So make every second count.
Welcome to the Real Estate Jam. Whether you're just beginning or the best of the best, we're glad you're here. We will share successes, failures, and strategies for the action-taking real estate investor. And now to your hosts, JD and Melissa.
Hey guys, welcome to the Real Estate Jam podcast. I'm JD with my wonderful co-host.
Hello, me, Melissa. How are you guys?
Melissa.
How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Guys, we are super excited. This is something that's a little bit near and dear to our heart, especially every time we have to pay taxes or feel like we're running low on operating cash. We got David Richter here, author of Profit First for Real Estate Investors. He's the owner of Simple CFO Solutions. And this dude is apparently a pretty young guy, but he is a real estate investor extraordinaire with over 850 deals in the books.
That's crazy.
That is
Can't
super
even
nuts.
imagine.
Yeah. David, thanks for coming on today. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
We are too, for sure.
Yeah, we're sorry about that little bit of confusion on the timing and stuff, but we're glad we were able to pull it together. So what I hope is, like I was telling you before we were on, is that we got a lot of mid-level, beginner and mid-level real estate investors. And if you could maybe let them know why you're an important dude to listen to and kind of what your story is, introduce yourself to them for anyone that doesn't know who you are, and kind of bring us all up to speed.
So rich dad, poor dad, a lot of places, stories start there in real estate investing. So does mine. So a friend gave that book to me in college, and the rest is history. So I read that book, did my first deal, loved it, got the bug right away. And I started working with a real estate investor in the local area. I was right outside of Chicago. So if you hear any accent, that's what it is. But that is where I started the real estate journey for real, where about 8 months I worked for free on like nights and weekends when I was still working another job, early married, just wanted to learn the real estate game, and then began doing some deals on the side myself. And that was really cool, building a little rental portfolio, but then started working with that company. And we scaled that company from about 5 or 7 deals a month, mainly wholesale deals, to about 25 or 30 deals a month. And we were doing turnkey, fix and flip, wholesales, wholetail, lease options, rentals, like seller finance, anything that you could think of, we were doing as an exit strategy. So that was a lot of fun. I got to look at and see how you do different types of deals, different types of contracts. Then I also got to sit in every seat during my time there. I was there for 5 years. So I sat in acquisitions, in the selling of properties, property management, project management, the transaction coordination, the finance seat. So that's where I got the bug for real estate. And I got to not only see a lot of deals done while I was there and do my own deals, but then I also got to see how a small business operates, from all the way from when you get a property, like marketing for a property, to all the way when it's sold or rented. And then I got to sit in the finance seat too and saw how the money moved through everything. And I was like, that was another mind-blowing moment besides just learning the real estate game. So that's kind of what got me started in real estate. So between my deals and working with that company and scaling it up and some other things I've been a part of, it's about 850 deals now where I've been a part of. And yep.
Well, now tell me this though, how did you convince the owner of the company or that company to train you in each of these seats to go out and then, become their competition? Or how did you, were you getting fired from the other positions and that's why they moved to the next one?
Right.
Like you because you're a nice guy?
Right. I'm not there anymore. So that makes sense. So No, that it was, I was really like a utility man, you know, like, okay, go in and fix the problems that are in this seat, or like help start this, you know, certain thing, or fill in. And, or sometimes I would go and say, I'd like to take on this position too, just because I want to get all the experience of this seat. So it was a lot of like, what's needed. It's a growing business, you know, as us entrepreneurs, as small business owners, it was like the owner sees someone who's halfway got their head on their shoulders and is like, can you put it, you know, can you go and fix this problem? So that's what a lot of it was, you know, and sitting in those different seats. And then I got into some seats I really liked and said, ooh, I want to stay in here. I really liked property management for what we did, because I like people, I like systems, I like, you know, the recurring revenue as well too, you know, of the property management and the rentals that we had in-house, our portfolio. Then I also like the finance seat. So yeah, sitting in those two was really eye-opening for me, but it was usually sit in a seat, make sure that we've got a process nailed down for it, and then let's pass it on and get someone else in that seat. So
okay, I got to ask you what you liked about the finance seat, because that's like the worst seat ever.
Well, if you're watching this, if you're watching this on video, you could probably see why. I've got the glasses, used to have braces, so you know, like besides the stereotypical part that, you know, I love seeing how the money flowed from beginning to end and why those positions mattered. It was almost like going through those positions. It was like, here's my number that I have to hit every day, but I had no idea what that really meant on the back end. But then seeing that as the person in the finance seat, seeing like, okay, if we get this amount of deals, this is where the money comes in. This is how we not only make money like 30,000 on a wholesale deal, but how that's distributed to make sure the company's running. That was really eye-opening to me, and put a lot of the, like, I was like, okay, I can see how this flows. But then also, as much as we had built that company up to 25 or 30 deals a month, we had built up the staff to like 25 or 30 people. So as we were like bringing in 6-7 figures a month sometimes, and then it's 6-7 figures a month going out the door too. So that was another big eye-opening moment for me. Like, oh, you don't mean that like every entrepreneur and business owner is just flush with cash and rich? It was like, here's the bottom line of like what's happening inside the business. So to me, that was super fascinating. And what got me started on this whole journey where I am now with, you know, the Profit First for real estate investing and the company I have now too, because like you said, no one who's an entrepreneur really likes that side. They just want to go out, get the deals done, you know, go after the marketing. They're going to marketing conferences and masterminds left and right, teaching them the next new marketing trick. So that's what the fun stuff is. So that, you know, so I totally understand that question, because I kind of was like, oh, this is an untapped place where if people knew more about this, you can make more bottom line profit. Like, it's probably more important to you that you spend more time with your family and have, you know, money for vacation or have money to do whatever it is you're in business than just going out there in the rat race over and over again. So that to me was just like another big light bulb moment sitting in that seat.
Yeah, but I can totally relate to that money in, money out. Good God, it's crazy, right?
It is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Which gave you the experience and allowed you to see the 30,000 foot view and able to drill down into the individual things, which led you to writing this book. Can you give us a kind of a rundown of what it is and why is it's important and who's it important for?
Well, let me go into. I moved from that area because we could live wherever we wanted. So we moved across the country to be closer to family at this point. And I started working with another investor. And the first thing I asked him was, I need to see your books. Let me see your books. Can I get in there? And so, and like into his financial statements, that's why I'm like his QuickBooks. So I dove in and said, like, none of these numbers are in order. There's nothing here that I can't see your story. Like, I can't tell if this is a good story or a bad story. Like, am I going to be up at night or not? So I dove into it and we got it all put together, like with some help there, and, you know, got it to where he could actually see his numbers. And then we saw he had a little portfolio of properties. He refinanced some of the properties and pocketed like several $100,000 because this was just like his money sitting inside of those deals. And he had no idea was sitting there. And I'm like, yeah, isn't it incredible what knowing your numbers does? And he said, this has transformed my life. Like he said, now I have these numbers. Now I'm able to make these decisions. Now I can go refinance or like do whatever I want with this cash, because he bought like some more rentals, you know, and like just bought them outright or something like that. So that to me was another light bulb moment when he said, this has transformed my life, because that was where I was like, I need to bring this clarity and this feeling to people, because so many people, Melissa, act just like what you said of like, no one likes the financial side. And that's why I wanted to be able to say, not only can it be fun, it can be the part that really unlocks the true financial freedom inside your business and get you off that rat race every single day. So that to me was eye-opening. So I had a mentor. I called him, told him like, hey, I'm starting this business, Simple CFO, to help, investors with their finances. And he said, have you read Profit First? And I said, no, I've never read Profit First by Mike Michalowicz. So I downloaded the book that night, took 10 pages of notes, read the whole thing, and said, I need to incorporate this. Like, this has to be a part of the framework. Like one of the pillars of the business is getting the cash flow management piece in place and really having that understanding from the entrepreneurial, level, and not from the accounting and bookkeepers, and like people who had gone to college for this sort of thing. So that's where I took that and started implementing the cash flow management system, Profit First, for real estate investors that we started working with. And that was where I started to see like the light bulbs going off for them of, oh, wow, this is where my money's coming in. This is where it's going out. This is where I can adjust over here to make sure that I'm more profitable or that the company's healthier. So that was a big eye-opening moment. So that's when I went to Mike Michalowicz, the author of Profit First, and said, hey, I think there needs to be a book for the real estate investing world. And here we are 14, 15 months later, and I have the book on my shelf behind me. If you can see it, or if you're listening, I'm very excited about this because it's coming out December 7th, 2021. No matter if you're listening to it, wherever you're listening to it, you can pre-order or order it. But that's where I got excited about now helping people understand how the finances are really that path to true financial freedom, getting out of the rat race. Profit First, we could just go into that. It's all first a mindset. We've heard it. We've heard The Richest Man in Babylon. We've heard Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all these books that tell you, pay yourself first. They're all like, here, you need to go out there. And even if sometimes you have to like push off bills and like ask them to, you need to be paying yourself at all times and getting into that habit. And that's great to hear, but it doesn't really sink in unless we have some practical steps behind that. So that's why I love this whole system, because it not only has the mindset, it has the steps. So the mindset is the same. It's like, we hear that formula, the formula sales minus expenses equals profit. I make a sale, I pay everyone else and their mother, and then I get what's left over. Hopefully at the end of the day, there's something for me, and that
sometimes there's not.
Sometimes there's not. Oh yeah. A lot of times there's not usually. Right. So that's where we get into that mindset, but we hear that everywhere. It makes sense, right? We pay everything and then, hopefully we have some left over for our hard work. Well, but we're not all Amazon, or we're not all these, Snapchat, or these places that can go in, debt for years and years and years and then, start to turn the profit. But we need the different formula, which is a Profit First formula. Sales minus profit equals expenses. I make a sale, I take my profit first, and then what I have left is what the business needs to live on, which is so counterintuitive, but also makes a lot of sense too. Like, oh yeah, I should be profitable. Like, this is why I started my company, and not just to grind 100 hours a week, leave my 40-hour-a-week job to do 100 hours a week and make less and be more stressed than I ever was in my whole entire life. It's like the stuff that we just hear about, the grind and the hustle and like all that, and everyone's wanting to like shoot their foot. It's like, come on, there's got to be a better way. So you have that formula and just changing that one little piece. But we've heard that over and over. If you're a real estate investor, that's probably not a new idea to you, because you've heard that type of thing. But what I love about Profit First is it has the way to make profit a habit inside of your business. You need to make profit a habit on every deal and as you grow your company. So how do you do that? Profit First, the practical steps are all about making sure that you're taking your profit first by, if you've ever heard of the envelope system, like, grandma's envelope system, or Dave Ramsey has made it super popular over the last couple decades here. But if you open up specific bank accounts designated for your profitability. So what do? I call them the first three that you should open up. You already have an operational expense account. So you've already got that. So there's four other foundational accounts that you'll need. One, an income account. That is just to hold deposits until you transfer them by percentage to these other accounts. So what are these other accounts, I call them the golden trio. Again, Melissa, this is for you because you asked, why did you like the finances? Well, if you look at me again, I like golden trios of like, if you've watched Harry Potter or Star Wars, like these big epic sagas of stories always have these three main heroes in them, like Luke, Han, and Leia, you know, like they're always driving the story forward for good. Well, your business and your life is an epic saga. So you need some heroes to make sure that your story is always pushing forward for good. And those three accounts, I call them the golden trio, is one, profit. Set up a profit account. That account is for your hard work, your dedication, the blood, sweat, and tears, and the risk you took for opening and starting your business. Second account of the golden trio, the owner's comp account. So compensating yourself for the work you do inside of the business. This not to be mixed with profit. Profit is strictly icing on the cake, where owner's comp is for the work you do as you scale your company until you're totally out of it and you've got a CEO running it for you. Then you can replace your salary with, you know, his salary with that account. But then number three account of the golden trio, the owner's income tax. Because how many times has it become tax time again and you're like, oh, shoot, now I've got to do 3 more flips or 2 more wholesale deals, or I got to, you know, liquidate a rental here because I got to pay the tax bill, or I've got to push it out and now I'm on a payment plan. It just creates a whole lot of stress at that time. So those 3 accounts are directly for you, the owner, to be able to say, I have profit, I'm paying myself, and I don't have to worry about the taxes. Like, just think about if you woke up every day, every month, not having to worry about those things, making sure you're paid, because hardly anyone pays themselves. Like 51% of all businesses, according to Inc. magazine, don't pay themselves anything. And then don't be one of those. So you have an account for that. And then your own, the income tax, like making sure that you're saving for that throughout the year. So that's the fundamental core of Profit First, because once you start getting money inside that income account and deposits and start pushing it out to profit, pushing it out to those other accounts like that are for your business, then you'll see the money start to grow. You'll see that you'll get into that habit, even if you start at a very small percentage, like 1% or less in profit. It doesn't matter. What we're trying to get you to is making profit a habit from every single transaction that you do. So opening up those accounts, getting into that habit, then the mindset starts to make sense. Robert Kiyosaki now sounds a whole lot smarter to you once you actually have money in your account. And a lot of these other people that you hear about, like around this formula or pay yourself first. Then the biggest objection, because I'm going to just demolish it right here, of like, this is a bunch of bank accounts. Like, what in the world? I can't go set that up. Besides that, just being a defeatist attitude of like, okay, do you want the financial freedom or not? Do you want to focus on yourself? Like, because these bank accounts are for you. But besides that, if you can just open one bank account from this podcast, from listening to this, call it profit, and transfer 1%, just getting into that psychological habit of making profit on every single deal, no matter how small it is, will help you get into the habit and start to see, oh, shoot, this works. You know, like I start to see that money grow, and like, I'd like to have a whole lot more in here. And like, I want to go on vacation to Fiji with my family, and I'd like to do these other things that I've always wanted to do. Well, that becomes that account. You know, that's where you start that seed and have it grow. So if you're like, I can't set up bank accounts, it's like, okay, set up one, transfer 1%, get into the habit. You'll start getting addicted to a good thing and get into that habit of creating that profit in your business. So hopefully that answered the question. I know that was a long-winded one.
Good.
I love it.
There's the system in a nutshell.
Yeah. Like, great. Nobody read his book. He was on
there you go.
We got it. It's all figured out.
Here, one more thing. If you're a real estate investor, I'd set up a 6 account, OPM, other people's money.
Yeah.
Like if you do not want to mix other people's money for rehabs with your operational expenses and get into a Ponzi scheme. You know, like where you become the contractor now, who's like stealing from your jobs to pay for the last job he just finished, you know, so you don't want to do that with your own business.
Yeah.
So,
that's
really
there you go.
We've seen and heard about people getting in so much trouble from doing that, using, it's one thing if you use some sort of private grandma's money to pay for a marketing campaign and you can, it's completely different when you're using it to make payroll because the last marketing campaign didn't produce the
right.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. You owe it to your investors. You owe it to these people that are trusting you with their funds to take care of it like it was your own money.
Oh yeah.
Or even better, rather, than your own money.
Right, even better than a lot of entrepreneurs treat their own money. Because
right.
A lot of people just pay for things and expect things to happen without the work behind it, or just like, here, problem, please go away.
Yeah.
It's like, no, like with this money, you've got to be very intentional what you're using it for, and don't give yourself any excuse for failure. Those safeguards in place.
Good. I really like all of that.
Awesome.
My wheels are turning for sure.
Great.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be the next book on our book club. We're in the middle of traction right now for the third time.
Nice.
I think if we can finish that up by December, you said what date does it come out?
The official launch date is December 7th. So if you pre-order it, it should start hitting your mailboxes around December 7th.
Yeah,
Very
we can
nice.
definitely be done with traction by then to do the Profit First Book Club. I think that's awesome. All right, David, right now you're doing the book thing, but you're still an active real estate investor and doing all of that stuff, or what do you got going on?
Liquidated all of my properties so that I could start this business, because I've been in real estate investing. I brought my first deal in 2012, been a part of a bunch of deals. And I've seen when I first started in that company, he had lost everything in the 2008 crash. And I had other friends too, that had held properties during the 2007, 8, 9 crash there. And I was like, I don't want this to happen to people. So that's where this became my life's mission. Like my passion, why I get up is to save entrepreneurs and real estate investors from the real estate rat race, or the rat race they're in, living deal to deal. And there is always going to be cycles in the market, personal cycles, personal struggles that you go through. And this is a safeguard for when those times come, that you'll be very glad that no matter what, if you're doing 1 deal or 1,000 deals, that you've set up a system like this for your finances. Because when everything hits the fan, you don't want to worry about the money. Yeah. You don't want to worry about that. If you can give yourself, here we go, just more movies like Forrest Gump, one less thing to worry about, like when he's sitting there on the park bench and Lieutenant Dan told him they invested in Apple, some sort of fruit company. This is one less thing. Money's one less thing I have to worry about. That's what I want for you. Like, that's why I started this business and liquidated my portfolio and like everything to pour into this business to be able to give back. And now we're working with a lot of real estate investors and entrepreneurs, business owners, implementing Profit First, helping them with their financial clarity. Like, here's the power that the numbers can give you. And that's where, I poured everything back into it. But I will say that this is also a catalyst to buy more real estate. And that's exactly what I'm looking for now. Like, I actually moved again. We're down here in Florida now. And it's like, okay, do we want to buy in Florida? Do we want to buy back where we were? So I'm kind of getting to that point of getting to where I want to buy again.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we were going to send our audience out to find you, to meet you, to be able to pre-order the book, to all of that kind of stuff, where can our guys get in contact with you to get either more information about your stuff or speak to part of your team, something? Where can they find out more about you?
So for the book, if you want to get the book, because that's the cheap option, that's the option where like I don't hold anything back. Like, there's even more things that I give, some more advanced techniques in there that even from this podcast, if we had more time, I'd give you everything right here. But go to simplecfobook.com. Simple CFO, like Chief Financial Officer book.com. There you can pre-order the book or order the book depending on when you're listening to this. And they've bulk copies too. So if you have like a book, a book club or something like that, even if you're ordering just a couple copies, it gives a discount on there versus just going right to Amazon. But it's also available on Amazon, and you could get it in 2 days if you got the Prime, so that's where you can find the book. Then to connect with me and our team and whatnot is simplecfosolutions.com. So if you go to simplecfosolutions.com, you can find us there. Also have a Profit First REI podcast that we host there too. Like, people, and that's just for encouragement. Like, here's people that have actually used this system, or these are people that, have the right mentality. Listen to them, listen to their story, get encouragement. Don't stay in the rat race, just get out of there. So those are the couple places that you can connect with us and our team and what we do.
That's awesome.
That is super awesome, man. I am super stoked. I learned a lot just from this little short podcast today, and I can't wait to read more about it. And I think we really got a lot of good nuggets, and it's a little bit specific to some of the challenges that we're dealing in our business right this second.
Yep.
So I really, really appreciate the value you're providing to us and to our listeners.
Awesome. I love this. Thank you for having me on. This is what I want to do, to share this message as much as I can to get people out of that rat race.
Thank you.
Doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Yep. Thank you.
Until next
both.
time.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Jam. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information, check out our website, therealestatejam.com, or find us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at The Real Estate Jam. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email at therealestatejam@gmail.com. See you next episode.